Hey, this is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and Film Intuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen. I am honored to have back my friend Nell Minow, who's one of my favorite people to talk about movies with. Her passion is infectious. Her knowledge is strong. She is the writer and editor at moviemom.com and also rogerebert.com. Nell, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And you are also one of my favorite people to talk to about movies. And we have such a wonderful topic today. I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, it was so nice. I loved being able to contribute again for Women Writers Week for you and Chaz over at rogerebert.com. And I was trying to think of something either timeless, but also that might tie in, and she's involved in a movie, and I thought Joan Cusack would be fun. Also, of course, the Chicago tie-in with Roger Ebert. So I was really happy to be able to write a piece on 5 of my favorite scenes, but like we were talking off air, we could do 6 episodes on Joan. She is incredible. She's been in so much stuff, always great. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I'm also from Chicago, and in fact from the north side of Chicago, which is where she was from also. As you know, she and her brother are the children of drama teachers, and Jeremy Piven was also in their drama school and remains a close friend. And her first film, they were both in My Bodyguard, which was shot in Chicago when they were still quite young. But yeah, you did a wonderful job for us as always for Women Writers Week, and I'm booking you right now for next year.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. You've got it. Yeah. No, we'll have to cook up something good, but okay. I thought this was also kind of a fun idea to talk about with you because we had that really great episode on Eve Arden and Judy Greer for, best friend roles, which are very important. And it's kind of, that is essentially what Joan plays most of the time, is the friend who says stuff. Yeah.
Who's very sharp and witty. And of course, her Oscar-nominated appearance in Working Girl is a classic of that. But yeah, she's got tremendous range that I think people don't give her credit for. And I know we're going to talk about some of her most vivid performances. But yeah, we also did a show on Thelma Ritter, and Thelma Ritter, she's often relegated to the snappy, exposition person, and I love to see her get a lead role. I did not know going into Toy Story 5 that she was really the lead in that movie, and I was so delighted, and she did such a great job.
Oh, good. I haven't seen it yet. So what did you think of Toy Story 5?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. Yes. When we get to Toy Story and the whole phenomenon that is Jessie, for sure. Yeah. And thinking about her early work, she went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, great school, got a degree in English. She was on Saturday Night Live for 1 season only, and then went to films, of course, broadcast news. Everyone remembers her running across the newsroom floor. Incredible.
After she bangs her leg. Yeah.
I know. Yes. And just, the amount of knee pads.
I love when she says, except for socially, you're my role model. So yes. Holly Hunter.
Yeah, she's so good in that movie. Yeah, I love it. And then, of course, right after that, there were more. I just did an episode on Jonathan Demme with Mike Miley, and we watched Married to the Mob, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Joan. Yeah.
Yes, one of the wives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is so good. So it was fun because Working Girl is one of my favorites. I love that idea. When I was trying to come up with possible book ideas, and off air, of course, Nell knows what my first book idea was. That wasn't really marketable at this moment, but I was looking at the 80s, and Working Girl was one of my top 5 that I wrote down. So I love this movie.
I love that movie too, and okay. I don't think although people are fond of it, I don't think they realize what a smart movie it is. And not just because it's about a smart person. And also, only Mike Nichols could get Harrison Ford to be in a supporting role where he's just the love interest. And he
Yeah.
just kills it because he's Harrison Ford. But every single person in that movie is amazing. And of course, the best performance ever from Melanie Griffith, and that's the only thing that the only reason that that Joan Cusack doesn't steal the entire movie because she's so incredible in that role.
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver is
Oh,
just like the prototypical Cruella and,
yeah,
Devil
she's
Wears Prada. It's such a
yeah,
great performance. And I
yeah,
love what you just said too about only Mike Nichols can get Harrison for a small role because in broadcast news we have Jack Nicholson in a tiny role too.
yes,
So it's
yes,
good that Joan was in these movies where like even top tier A-list talent believed in them enough to be part of the ensemble. So
and
no small parts. Yes.
she just kills it. More
Yes.
coffee, Miss McGee.
Coffee, tea, me. Yeah. I know the accent she uses because we always know Joan with her Chicago accent.
Yeah,
So that is quite good. And
and the eye makeup and the
yes.
hair, but
Yeah.
also it's very clear why she and the Melanie Griffith character are close friends. She is a real person. We get to see her engagement party and her sympathetic support. She's great, and yeah, she makes it into a real character.
She does. There's that sequence that plays out, and we've already seen Melanie Griffith's boyfriend, Alec Baldwin, cheating on her.
Yeah,
That's in the bar at her, Joan Cusack's character's engagement party, where he, has this dumb idea that pops in and peer pressure and, not
yeah,
thinking straight. He thinks I'm going to get her back with the grand gesture of
right.
proposing in front of everyone when they're
Hmm.
not even really on terrific speaking terms at this point, and just watching it play out on Joan's face, like, don't do it, don't do it, is so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's a mini movie. Yeah.
In and of itself, absolutely. And we see that so often with her. I know we're going to talk about Addams Family too, where she really, if you ask anybody who's seen that movie, what do you remember about it? And there are a lot of great things in that movie. Everybody's going to go to the Barbie monologue.
Yes. Malibu Barbie. Yes. It made the movie, really, her big
Yeah, it
speech.
really,
I love how psychotically sure she is of the points she's making. Like, that's
with her
all. And
with
it
her
was
sort
so,
of PowerPoint presentation.
yes.
And yeah, and what's of course so perfect about it is that we are there to see that as grotesque and bizarre as the Addams Family members are, they are positively cuddly compared to this seemingly normal person who's
Yes.
just, you know,
Debbie.
she's like a Bond villain. She's just awful.
I know, it is so funny, and her name is Debbie. I
Hmm.
remember writing a version of a fairy tale that was a satire when I was a kid, and I
Hmm.
made the villain named Debbie. And I think it was before this movie came up, but it was just
Uh-huh.
such an idea of like
Uh-huh.
somebody you think is angelic and is
Hmm.
not at all. I was trying to think of a sweet name.
Hmm.
And yeah, I love also that we see the drama play out with the Addams Family. They were completely on her side in that speech about Malibu Barbie, and like,
Yeah.
you deserved your ballerina Barbie. Oh my God.
Oh,
Like, they aren't milking her. Like, they were with her up until the point it became about Fenster and
until
all of that. Yeah. I thought that was
but
great.
that performance is one of my favorite of all time in any category. She commits
Yes.
to use a favorite acting term, she commits so totally. She believes in that character. She is that character, and that character believes in herself. She thinks she's right. And many people would sort of wink at the screen, let us know that they're just being campy, but
Mhm.
she is ruthless in the most hilarious way.
Yeah. She's very in her conviction that what she's doing just makes sense and she needs to do it.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I mean, they say that, you know, I think comedy is harder than drama, but
Yeah.
the dramatic moments, we need somebody as funny as Joan to be able to sell them, and she does. This was also around the time I remember seeing her in Chorus My Blue Heaven, which I love how she's, as much as we think Rick Moranis is the straight man to Steve Martin, she's kind of the straight man to Rick Moranis a little bit
Yes,
too.
that's a perfect
And
way to put it.
yeah,
I'm so glad you mentioned that movie because it is one of my favorites. I
me
feel
too.
that it's been terribly overlooked.
Yeah,
And let's spend a little bit of time on it because
yeah,
one of my favorite things about that movie is, of course, it was written by Nora Ephron, who was married to Nicholas Pileggi. And while he was doing Goodfellas,
yeah,
she was basically watching everything that he was writing about and saying, you know what, that could also be funny. And it's really
yes.
the same story.
I love
They're
that.
both about men who are in witness protection
Mhm.
and what that's like to go from a kind of high energy, high visibility, glamorous in its own way life to, being called Todd and living in this suburban area and trying to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. So, it kind of reminds me of another underrated movie that I like a lot with Philip Seymour Hoffman called Owning Mahoney,
Oh
where
yeah, great one.
yes, where he at the end of the movie, after he's had to give up the thing that means the most to him in the world, which is gambling, he says, "I just have to understand. I've been at a 10. I'm never going to be at more than a 2 again." And
Mhm.
that's really what Steve Martin is facing in My Blue Heaven. But it's so funny to me that it's such a bookend with Goodfellas,
Yeah,
and
they
that these
came out
two
the same year.
people came out the same year, and I could just see them in their two little offices in their home, just writing away and bringing their own perspective to the same setup. So,
Yeah,
having said that, that's one reason I love it.
my favorite
Go ahead.
story about that is she said, and it was Henry Hill that we're talking about. That is when you
Right.
think of Steve Martin as playing Henry Hill, suddenly it gets even funnier. But she was answering the phone when he was calling the house, and I guess he
Oh,
was looking for friendship at that point, so he considered Nick Pileggi like a friend, and he kept calling, and according to Nora, he was half in the bag like every time. And so she just took
good.
advantage of that and asked him as many questions as she could. He had no idea she was even writing this. And then when the movie came out, there's a really great quote. He's like, if she was anybody else's wife. I thought that was good. Yeah.
But I think that is a brilliant movie. It is so smart
Yes.
and so funny, and again, just a absolute powerhouse cast.
Yeah.
Every bit is immense. And Bill Irwin as, just showing up there as
Yeah.
the
Dancing
partner
away.
of Rick Moranis. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. And she in that one is a little bit like the teacher that she plays in School of Rock. She's kind
I
of the
love that.
straight-laced one.
Yeah.
And uh, and of course, she's a lot taller than Rick Moranis, and that provides some of the humor in it. But there's such a tenderness really
Hmm.
there, especially after he comes in and escorts her ex-husband out of the house.
I know, I love
And
that scene. Or
yeah,
the whole turtle sequence is
I was just going to say the
classic.
turtle sequence.
Go for it.
Yeah, well, he saves the day, and she just, it would be very easy to make that role in the midst of so many colorful characters. It would be very easy to make that one boring. And
Yeah.
there's so much going on that we might neglect her, but she just brings a warmth. She loves her kids. She's trying to do the best she can. She's very devoted to her work and not looking to have a new boyfriend, but is captivated by Rick Moranis, as anybody should be, and it's very, very, very sweet, and I think that's a great movie and a great performance from her.
It really is. And I think it would have been easy just to make her like a stick in the mud, but we get to
Yeah,
see her react to some of the charm like almost against her will. Like
yeah,
the shoes are terrible. Like he goes off on her shoes. And then in the next scene we see her wearing heels to the
yeah,
store and one of them breaks in the parking lot.
yeah.
And then she tries saying these are old shoes. And then she's replacing a turtle she accidentally killed. And so Steve Martin is privy to this little indiscretion of
Blackmail.
hers. She whacked the turtle, and I love the last line there. Like the shoes, it's a miracle they lasted as long as they did, because he's told this story about his wife dying, which is so good. Yes.
No, it is great, and it's just a very sweet, lovely, funny movie that I would recommend to anybody, and she just is fantastic in it as always.
Yeah, she's also just so good at playing like the mama bear
Yeah.
character. I also remember her in 9 Months, which was a
Yes.
very funny performance. She was married to Tom Arnold. They were kind of the parents of the rambunctious kids that like Hugh Grant and recently expecting accidentally Julianne Moore don't want to be, but at the same time she sees the beauty in the everyday of Joan, and Joan is just so loving and nice. We also see that a little bit in Say Anything, how there's
Just going to say that's
the
like Say Anything,
tenderness.
where
Yes.
the moment where she says, and that's one of 10 movies where she co-starred with her real life brother,
John.
John
Yeah.
Cusack, and is playing sister in that one. And when she says, "I used to be fun," it's very sweet because she's a very tangential minor character in that movie. It's
Yeah.
all about the love story of John Cusack, and
Ione
um,
Sky.
yet,
Yeah.
yeah, and Ione Sky, and yet he lives with his sister. We don't know about the parents, but he lives with his sister,
Yeah.
and they're away
Military, they're away. Yeah.
somewhere, yeah.
Hmm.
And he lives with a sister who is a single mom and who's doing the best she can, clearly overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And he reminds her she used to be fun, and
Yes.
she hasn't let herself be fun. And the rapport between them, the chemistry between them, is everything you would hope from two incredibly talented people who happen to be real life brother and sister. You can see
Yeah.
that they are enjoying being together on screen.
Yeah, they're getting on each other's nerves, but she still wants the best for him. And when he gets his heart broken and he calls from the phone booth, it's always raining or crying in a John Cusack movie. And,
John Cusack, that's right.
she answers the phone and she's finally like, just come home. That thing, breaks me too. But I look at that performance and like you said, it is a minor character, but Cameron Crowe, the writer director, makes sure she's three-dimensional and we know her whole life. You also see maybe he was looking at that character when he wrote Dorothy Boyd, the Renee Zellweger character in Jerry Maguire seems to be an
Yes, another
offshoot of
single
that.
mom.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Another single mom who's just trying to hold it all together. Um,
with a
yeah,
sister.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, with a sister, and also, his autobiographical film, Almost
almost famous.
Famous. He's got a single mom who's trying to hold it together too. So he's very sympathetic to that.
Yes. And it's also really cool that by the time we reached the late 90s, people were recognizing Joan had an amazing voice. It does lend itself to animation, and she became Jessie the cowgirl, which she said that they were cool with her having her Chicago accent. They found that funny to have a cowgirl with a
Mhm.
Chicago accent. Jessie is feisty. We needed a strong female character in that series as much as I love Annie Potts. We needed that. So she's a real shot of life. She's also the one that makes everybody cry and breaks your heart in Toy Story 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know until I read the interview with her in the New York Times this week that in the original script, Woody was supposed to rescue Jessie. And
Oh
she
yeah, in Toy
suggested,
Story 3. Yeah.
yeah, and she suggested that she should rescue him. And
Yeah.
I thought that was just, and I thought it was great that they took that suggestion. And I thought it was great that they established the character that way and really laid the foundation for 5, which we'll talk about in a minute, but where she really is the lead character. And, uh, she, as we know from her earlier movies, she's dealing with some unresolved trauma.
Yeah.
She sets up, this heartbreaking When She Loved Me
Oh my
song.
God. Yeah.
And to be, on both sides of that, both as a former child who grew up and as the parent whose children
Yes.
grew up, it just
Yeah.
wipes you out. I always
Yeah.
remember with Toy Story 3, the New York Times review of it, at the end they always say parents should know that there's this and there's that. And for Toy Story 3, they said parents should know that their children may be upset by hearing their parents softly sobbing at the end of this movie.
Oh yeah, that one. But Toy Story 2, I have the funniest story. We went to a wedding. It was me and a bunch of friends from my first job, which was at Hallmark gift shop in the mall.
Oh, fun.
What?
Fun. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun place to work. And we were at this wedding that was a friend of ours. And it'd been one of those weddings where a few hours have gone by and you've had enough. And so I was told to bring movie times. So I kind of palmed them. We all sort of huddled around and we went in our, evening wear to the movie theater to see Toy Story 2. And it was funny. My friend kept using it as an excuse. Well, Jen has a bad back, so we have to leave the wedding. Jen has a bad back, so we have to sit in this chair. And then we thought it was just going to be like a laugh riot. And then we were all like sobbing uncontrollably.
No,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Have you met Pixar?
Yeah. I know.
One of my favorite Pixar details of Toy Story is that in the first film, the first shot is of the sky painted on Andy's bedroom ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And then this still is going to cry right now. And then in Toy Story 3, after he leaves the toys with Bonnie and he drives off to college, it's the real sky above his head. Oh my goodness.
God.
But it just shows you how thoughtful they are. The fact that Andy writes his name on Woody's boot and he's still so young, he does the end backwards, but when he gets Buzz, he's older and he knows how to do the end properly. I mean, they're just so careful about every. So I know you haven't seen it and I'm not going to spoil it, but I am going to just say a little bit about Toy Story 5. So at the end of Toy Story 4, Woody and Bo Peep are no longer part of Bonnie's collection. They are off on their own. And Jessie is really running the show. She's really taken over the role that Woody used to have as kind of mayor of the toys. She and Bullseye, her horse. And they're having a wonderful time with Bonnie. At the very beginning of the film, Bonnie is doing a wedding of Forky and Beverly.
That's cute.
And Jessie is the officiant.
Okay.
And then it turns into a murder mystery because somebody has poisoned the maid of honor, who is played by T-Rex. And the point is that, like the last one, it starts with this incredibly imaginative, wonderful, very rich play. And then just as Buzz sort of took over with his new technology and his fanciness in the first one, now we have essentially the iPad called Lily. And
the lily pad or something. Yeah.
The lily pad, right. And so just as Woody confronted Buzz and tried to assert his leadership, that's what Jessie does with Lilypad.
Okay.
And it's very funny because it's a touchscreen, and of course, touchscreens require humans.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing they can do.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
They're little plastic hands. they figure out a very, very, very funny workaround. But Jessie is the one who does what Woody has done in the past. She ends up going on what the legal term is, a frolic and detour. She ends up going on
Okay.
this journey and having to find her way back, and just we're in her mind and in her heart through the whole thing. And ultimately, it's not too much of a spoiler to say the issue of her past trauma comes up, and is addressed, I thought, in a really thoughtful, good way. And so it was wonderful to see Jesse, and it was wonderful to see Joan Cusack take the lead role in that movie.
Yeah, I'm so glad they did that. I can't wait to see it this week. As Nell knows, my neighbor's doing a bunch of construction next door. And so yesterday I heard a lot of jackhammering, and she's heard jackhammering in her area too.
Yes.
We're not neighbors, but yes.
Yes,
And
just a coincidence.
just a coincidence.
Synchronicity.
Yes. And so I thought, okay, if I hear it again this week, I'm totally running over to Toy Story 5.
Yeah, there are some great new characters in it. Conan O'Brien
I love
plays a
Conan.
toy. And there are three toys that, yeah, he's amazing in it. There are three toys that are very high tech from the perspective of the first movie, but completely obsolete from our perspective now. So they have pixel displays. The pixels are the size of quarters. They're just, it's you forget how far we've come. And Conan
Yeah.
O'Brien plays a potty training toy
Okay.
that was used for positive reinforcement in potty training. And then there are two other
Funny.
obsolete toys that get pulled in. And Bad Bunny has one line as
Okay.
another toy. That's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna have to listen
Okay,
for it. But
great.
yeah, it's really, really, really good. I still think number 3 is the all-time best Toy Story movie,
It's so good.
but I really like Toy Story 5. It's just like all the other ones. It's funny. It's got a lot of heart, and it's exciting. It's great.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. One of the funniest things that I saw Conan do, I'm sure you've seen it. If not, I'll email it to you. But there's a video on YouTube of him going to the American Girl doll store. And
No, I have not seen it.
okay, I will. It is the best. It's his whole experience there with the dolls, having tea, interrogating people
Mhm.
about the dolls, and it just gets funnier and funnier. So I'm wondering if it went a little bit viral during the pandemic again, and I'm wondering if
Uh-huh.
they thought, oh, let's get Conan in. Yeah,
He's great. He's great.
yeah,
My daughter, as we've discussed, is a costume designer in Hollywood, and
yeah.
she got to work with him on If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she said he was just a delight,
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
but
And
hard to
then
find pants in his size because he has
I
very
bet.
long legs.
Yeah, he's tall. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think also using your physicality is something Joan does so well in
Yeah.
School of Rock too, which is
Yes.
because she's opposite
With
Jack
the
Black.
Stevie Nicks song.
The Stevie Nicks song is so great. I like how Jack is feeding her
That's so good.
Stevie, that whole thing,
Yeah.
and getting her to like
And
loosen up. Yeah.
yeah, that's another movie where she is playing a character who is trying very hard to be straight-laced, but inside has a little bit of wildness in her,
Little
a little
rebellious.
bit of
Yeah.
softness. I love the part. First of all, School of Rock, great movie,
Yes.
and I love the part in it when after this triumphant performance of the band.
Oh, and the guy hits on her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very funny. She's like, no. The guy with that weird shirt that shows his chest.
Yes.
Yeah. No, so I love it when Jack Black says, she says, that was amazing. You guys are incredible. And Jack Black says, so you're not mad? She says, I'm furious. That was still amazing.
She has another scene like that earlier on that like kills me, where she's yelling at a kid in her office, this little
Yeah.
girl, and the girl is like, I'm sorry, and like, crying, do you want a hug? But she says it in that like shouty way.
Right.
Scares the hell out of the kid.
And early on, after Jack Black becomes the substitute teacher, she's walking in the hallway, and her interactions with the kids are just great. She's always looking to see who's a little bit out of line. And one of the kids says to her, "You're the man," and she says, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah.
she's,
Yeah.
but she is absolutely so endearing. I mean, it's one of those situations where, of course, Jack Black's falling in love with her. We're falling in love with her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like they don't really go there, but you could totally see that those two would be a couple for sure. I love that whole thing. I remember when it was playing the press screenings, I went to one press screening and they said that it was so popular at the previous one that they were going to have, so I think I went to two or three of the press screenings. They kept having to have them because of word of mouth of this movie was so big before it even opened. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a rare, really, this almost never happens, as you know, with the press screenings. They really try to play
Yes.
with us,
Keep
and
it.
if it's a lousy movie, they'll keep it till the very last minute or
Hmm.
not show it to us at all. But if it's a really good movie, they'll have several screenings and you can go. And this one, they knew they had a hit on their hands. They
Yeah.
showed it to us before they had even done the end credits.
Yeah.
So it was not complete when they showed it to us. And
That might have been the print I saw the first time. Yeah.
yeah, so when they're singing at the end and
Hmm.
the little adjacent School of Rock, there were no credits there, and they just said credits coming, and I
Yeah.
knew they would not show it to us so soon
Yeah.
unless they knew everybody was going to love it, and everybody did.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too, the music is so great and they managed to get like Led Zeppelin famously doesn't use, it costs
Right,
so much money, especially it was immigrant song and
right,
they got Jack to like record a video kind of
right.
begging the band. But I also think, because it was Richard Linklater and he did Dazed and Confused, which had the wall-to-wall music, that they were
Right.
able to do that again because of his reputation. So, yeah.
He's really become one of my absolute
Yeah.
favorites. But does he ever sleep? He just is
I
coming out with so
know.
many movies. We should have a special episode about him. I
Yeah.
totally do. Okay, so for a future day. But yeah, I love that movie. It is perfect casting for Jack Black. He's never going to have a better role than that. And I love the fact that two of those kids grew up and got married to each other in
Yes.
the movie. They were at some promotional event 10 years later and just fell in love and got married. And it's just it is comes out of a deep appreciation and love of music and of the
Hmm.
effect that that can have on children, and that was great.
Yeah. And then after Working Girl, which got her nominated for the Oscar, she was also nominated for In and Out, and she is so good in that. Do you know how many
She
times I
is. I
saw?
feel so sorry for her.
Yeah, I had to watch Funny Lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in real life she runs a gift shop in Chicago and it's named after a Barbra Streisand character. So,
Judy Maxwell, I have been
yes.
there.
Yeah.
And I sent you a picture. My sisters and my mother were there when Joan Cusack was there and got their
Oh,
picture with her.
nice.
And
Yeah.
anything that you buy there, it's exactly the shop that you think she would have. It's all kinds of quirky, endearing, funny objects that you would not find anywhere else. And she will autograph anything you want for you if you buy it there.
Oh,
Yeah, and she is there, and quite often. My mom saw her there many times, and it's just the kind of thing that you would think that she would do, is to have this quirky little shop and name it after the Barbra Streisand character in What's Up, Doc?
yeah. So good. But yes, you're right. You feel so bad for her in and Out, but I
Oh,
thought the
it,
balance though was so good to have the Matt Dillon character.
yeah.
We almost need that because otherwise you would hate the Kevin Kline character. But I mean,
Yes,
you
you
are
would.
mad at him, but
Yeah, you're mad at
still,
him
yeah,
because, I mean, I understand that he was misleading everyone, including
yeah.
himself,
But
but poor Joe Cusack
yes, who was
in her
engaged
wedding
about to
dress.
marry? Yeah.
Yeah, she just wants to, and she loves him. She wants to marry him, and she has absolutely no idea that he's gay. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
but she's
really obvious, you guys, but yes.
yeah, it is really obvious. But
Yes.
she she gets hysterical very well. So we've talked
She
about a couple of
does.
performances where she really reins it in, and she's playing a very buttoned up character. But this is one where she really has an opportunity to
Yes.
just let it go. And
Debbie, but for like the heartbreak. Yes.
yeah, exactly. That's a really good way to put
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And I also love her doing the same thing, and she's great at exploding at her
Yeah.
brother and then
Yeah.
being fine.
Yeah.
Like, which probably comes from childhood, I'm sure.
Right.
But we see that in High Fidelity when she just, you
Yes.
asshole, like she gets mad and then she's fine.
Yeah.
And then also in Grosse Point Blank, she's the only
Right.
one who can like really say those things. Just the weird amount of dialogue. There's a lot of words there that are very difficult to say quickly around each other. It's like marble mouth.
Hmm.
Odd Native American art, voodoo. Like she has to say all these really strange things in a row. Just kills it. Yeah.
And that's a tough movie to find the right tone. It's a very dark
Yes.
comedy. And,
Mhm.
again, she has appeared in so many different kinds of movies and just always gets the tone exactly right. And good for her in that one. And that's one where I think he wrote it and directed it, right? John Cusack?
No,
Or just
he
wrote it?
he was in it. He was one of the writers, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was George Armitage, I think.
Oh, okay.
Armitage,
Okay.
yeah.
But I
He
know
did
that was
Miami
kind of
Police.
a passion project for
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. And it was the same group that did High Fidelity, and he
right.
tapped Stephen Frears for that.
Definitely. I think High Fidelity, another Chicago setting, is
Great
a
movie.
really, although it's based on a book that's British, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Nick Hornby.
And Jack Black again,
Yes.
um, is a really, really fine movie and really well done. And yeah, it's great. It's great to see her in it. Did you ever see a movie called My Bodyguard?
Yes, that was
Because
with
that
Matt
was really
Dillon, right?
John and Joan were teenagers when
It
they
was so
appeared in
good.
that.
Yes.
That's a really great movie, and just you get a little glimpse of them, and then she's also in 16 Candles wearing the
Yeah.
scoliosis brace,
Uh-huh.
and so even then you could see that as teenagers they understood what it was to create a character.
Yeah, and My Bodyguard is tough because it's both sweet
Yeah,
and it's a drama, it's sweet,
yeah,
and it's a little funny. So it's kind of
yeah,
everything in one. And I think we were
yeah,
making a lot more multi-tonal, kind of complicated things back in the 80s. Like some of our high school movies are dark, or there's stuff in them
yeah.
that you might not think about when you look at high school movies today. Yeah.
Heathers, Jawbreaker, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some subversive stuff happening. And My
Yeah.
Bodyguard isn't Heather's, but it's definitely, it would have been a weird tightrope to walk on your first time out in a movie.
Exactly. And we have to say something about Matt Dillon, who had, I think, one of his
I
first
love
roles
him in that.
too. He's great as the
Mhm.
bully. And
Yeah.
our hero has to hire a bodyguard to protect him, and it's about what happens then. It's really good.
Yeah. Matt Dillon in this era, I think people should kind of pay closer attention. Like, was it Over the Edge? And then
Mhm.
this, and then Rumblefish,
Yes.
Outsiders. He was so good in this period. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's easy to overlook because of their age. Yeah.
Yeah. And also he's so handsome.
Yes, exactly. And he went on to do so many, award-winning performances and everything. But yes. And I think that's a really good beginning for Joan and some of the Chicago-ness. Of course, she had to be at a
Hmm.
John Hughes.
Hmm.
Are there any other favorites? I had a coworker mention, but I haven't seen it since the theater, Raising Helen as a performance she really liked with Joan.
I forgot she was in that.
I did too. I guess she's
Yeah.
like another,
She's again, that's another one where
yeah.
she's really off in the sidelines.
Yep.
But she's there to bring sort of the voice of rationality
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to rewatch that. My friend Jen at the bookstore was like, "Oh, that's so good." Okay. So that's another one. Are
All
there
right, I'm
any
going to
other?
mention one that not that many grown-ups have seen since we were talking about the American Girls, Kit Kittredge, an American Girl.
I loved that. Did
You know
you,
what? That's a great movie. And
thank you. High five,
she's
Nell.
high five. Yeah, I love that movie. I think all the American Girl movies that I've seen are excellent,
Yeah,
but
the
that's my
Samantha
favorite.
one, Molly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite. And partly because she's in it and she plays, she again, she doesn't say, "Oh, I'm slumming, I'm playing in a kid's movie, based on a doll company." She really creates a character that has some force and weight.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's another one I always recommended to people, and I just think everyone overlooked it or thought, oh, American Girl doll or whatever. And so I'm glad you loved it too.
Definitely. I tell you, I would not have seen it except that I was reviewing
Yep, me
movies
too.
for Movie Mom that were directed at families, and I was not just pleasantly surprised, I actually loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
She's talk about tonal. She's great in Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which is the
Yes.
craziest movie. And,
Yeah.
she's great on that.
Oh, Where the Heart is another really good performance of hers.
Yeah.
And Friends with Money is too. That's kind of a hard one to play. It's an there's some unlikable characters in that. It's one of
Yeah.
Nicole Holofcener's movies where you
Right.
watch it and you're like, I don't know if I want to hang out with any of those, but
That is
it's
definitely
interesting.
true. They're
Yeah.
very unpleasant people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Klaus, but I think that's a very underrated animated
No.
film,
Okay.
and she's very good in that. It is a gorgeous film. My husband is a specialist in animation, and he's all about the visuals, and he loves that movie.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, so that's a very good one too. And we talked about all the Toy Stories all together, but each and every one of them could deserve
Yeah.
its own conversation. They're really, really good.
Oh, Men
Uh,
Don't Leave is one that I think
oh, that
everybody
is
forgets
such a
about.
good movie.
And she's so great in it. She's the neighbor who's like
Yeah,
a nurse or an x-ray tech, and she's
yeah.
dating 17-year-old Chris O'Donnell, who's Jessica Lange's kid. It's a little weird, but she's such a good
And
character.
and his mother is very unhappy about it.
Yes, and
Yeah,
then they
Jessica
become
Lange is
friends, and
yeah,
it's so
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Because Jessica Lange, who's lost her husband and is
Yeah.
really in a very bad place,
Mm-hmm.
just feels utterly, again, another single mom. She's completely overwhelmed and she's horrified
Yeah.
that her teenage son is having an affair with an adult woman.
Who's like
And
in her
yet,
20s, but still it's creepy. Yeah.
yeah, when she collapses,
Yeah.
it's Joan Cusack who comes in and says, "Let's get you back
Yeah.
on your feet." And it's very unexpected, but it's really, really nice. And
Yeah.
again, she's playing kind of a quirky character.
I think don't they wind up going in like a hot air balloon? I believe you can watch the movie on YouTube, but it's kind of one of those
Oh,
that's
yeah?
harder to watch
Yeah.
right now. And that is for a lot of these movies from that period. A lot of these smaller offshoot studios that are no longer in business, so rights are hard to find. Karina, she's very funny. She's,
Yeah.
yes, the
Gotcha.
alcoholic nanny. Yes,
That's right.
yeah. Jonesy's famous pancakes, and she's always making herself some drinks, which is funny. It's a little
Yeah,
bit performance.
she is in a way the Eve Arden of her
Yes.
era because that's a very Eve Arden thing to do. But yeah, every one of her performances is so heartfelt, so committed, and this is something that really matters to me, so precise. I mean, she really creates an entire character every time.
Arlington Road is
That
probably
is actually one of the
that's
scariest movies I've ever seen, possibly because
ever.
it's set where I live.
Yes.
I live in the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
I will
So,
say if you haven't seen it, I don't want to like spoil it, but I will say you will never look at some of these actors the same way again, and one of them is Joan. Yes.
that's right. And also, that had probably the most bone-chilling ending
Oh my gosh.
of
Yeah.
any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Again, partly because it takes place where I live and I recognize the locations and that's part of what the movie is about, is letting you know that there are threats around you even in the most quiet, lovely suburban
Yeah.
civilized areas. And yeah, she's really, really good in that. She's great.
Yeah. Even though she's somebody, of course you'd want Joan as your best friend. Yes. Yeah. And I think that really worked, to
Before
her
the
favor.
Americans TV show.
Yes. Arlington Road.
Yeah, Arlington Road.
Yes.
Okay, now if you had a chance to cast her as somebody in a movie that has not yet been made, if a book that you love or a story that you love, what would you like to see her do that she hasn't done yet?
Oh, that is such a good question. You know what would be fun is to see her in a romantic comedy, as the heroine or as the main character instead of always the best friend. I think that would be good. I would also like to see her kind of in a wilder, zanier role. I
Yeah, I'd like
think,
to see
yeah,
her in a Judy Maxwell
yeah,
role.
yeah.
And
Let's
yeah,
make her
and
a
just
screwball romantic comedy heroine. Yeah.
yeah, I think
How
that
about
would
you
be
though?
that. No, I think that would be great. But I'd also like to see her in a very serious, dramatic role, maybe a
Yeah.
biopic where she's playing some woman who, you know, Margaret Mead or somebody like that who really has
Yes.
to break through. Because I think she would do really well in something like that. But no,
You'd
obviously,
be
if I had
great in
a
period
choice,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I'd put her in a comedy any day.
Yeah.
She's just the best.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I think we kind of gave everyone a good overview. Hopefully they're making lists of these movies to check out. I think we're going to have to do a Richard Linklater episode at some
Yes,
point. Yes, I love that idea. Nell, just thanks for doing this.
it's always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the next one already.
You bet.
I also want to thank everyone for listening, especially my patrons who support the show and help fund my research, equipment, film rentals, RSS fees, and more for as little as $1 per month at the Film Intuition Patreon, which is the home base for the show. Other ways you can support the podcast are by sharing, reviewing, and subscribing to Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts, and also checking out the cool merch store hosted and created by our talented logo designer, Kate Gabrielle. You can find the merchandise store, including shirts, tote bags, stickers, and more by visiting filmintuition.com and clicking on the shop link. The show's theme music is solo acoustic guitar by Jason Shaw and is available in the free music archive. Well, until next time, please take care and happy movie watching. This is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and Film Intuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen.